It was his habit to murmur to the patient when he forgot himself in an operation. He was so engrossed in his work that he used to forget on whom he was operating upon, and he used to murmur. He speak in low voice to his patients. My friend, he always called his patients, and so now he did, forgetting that this was his enemy. Right now also he was so engrossed that he forgot that he was operating upon his enemy, so he called him also my friend. Then quickly, with the cleanest and most precise incisions, the bullet was out. Now quickly, he, in a very neat and very exact cut, the bullet was out. He put a very precise cut and took out the bullet. The man quivered, the man trembled, but he was still unconscious. Nevertheless, he muttered a few English words. He was still unconscious, but still he mentioned some English words. Guts, he muttered, choking. They got my guts. Sadao, Hannah cried sharply. Guts is courage. So he must have suffered a lot when he was the prisoner. Probably that is what he was remembering and speaking. Sadao, Hannah cried sharply. Hush, Sadao said. The man sank again into silence so profound that Sadao took up his wrist, hating the touch of it. Now the man became so silent that Sadao picked up his wrist to check whether he was alive or not. He hated the touch of him. Yes, there was still a pulse, so faint, so feeble. Yes, he saw that he checked that there was pulse, but it was very faint and it was very weak. But enough if he wanted the man to live, to give hope. Now, if the doctor wanted him to live, this much pulse was enough. He could revive him. But certainly, I do not want this man to live, he thought. He did not want this man to live because this man was a problem for them. They would have to give him to the authorities. No more anesthetic, he told Hannah. He turned as swiftly as though he had never paused, and from his medicines he chose a small vial and from it filled a hypodermic and thrust it into the patient's left arm. Now he spoke to her. He told her no more anesthetic. And so quickly he turned and he again got busy in his work as if he had not even stopped. He took out a vial. A vial is a glass ampule which does not have a cover. The ampule has to be broken to take the medicine from it. He took a vial and filled a hypodermic. He filled a syringe and thrust it into the patient's left arm. Then, putting down the needle, he took the man's wrist again. He again checked his pulse. The pulse under his fingers fluttered once or twice and then grew stronger. Now the pulse, which was very weak, fluttered, became slow for a moment, and then it became strong. This man will live in spite of all, he said to Hannah and sighed. He said, in spite of all, he will live. In spite of so many injuries, so much blood loss, everything, he is still going to live. The young man woke so weak, his blue eyes so terrified when he perceived where he was. Now when he woke up and he realized where he was very terrified. He was very afraid because he found himself in Japanese house and America and Japan were enemies. That Hannah felt compelled to apologize. Now she, seeing the fear on his face, she was forced to apologize. She herself served him, for none of the servants would enter the room. The servants would not do anything for the American, so she had to serve him food also. When she came in the first time, she saw him summon his small strength to be prepared for some fearful thing. When she came inside for the first time, she saw that he had collected his little strength, and he was prepared for something very bad. He was so afraid. Don't be afraid, she begged him softly. How come you speak English? He gasped. He was not able to talk also properly, so he gasped, and he asked her how could she speak English. I was a long time in America, she replied. She saw that he wanted to reply to that, but he could not, and so she knelt and fed him gently from the porcelain spoon. He ate unwillingly, but still he ate. Now, he wanted to reply to that she had been to America, she had lived in America for some time, but he did not have the strength to answer that. So she could see that she knelt down and she fed him with a porcelain spoon. He ate, though very unwillingly. He did not want to, but still he ate. Now you will soon be strong, she said, not liking him and yet moved to comfort him. These were contradictory feelings. Though she did not like him, but still he was a human being. So she also wanted to comfort him. He did not answer. When Sadao came in the third day after the operation, he found the young man sitting up, his face bloodless with the effort. Now, on the third day, when Sadao went inside the room, the white man was sitting and his face was pale because of this act. He was looking very pale. Lie down, Sadao cried. Do you want to die? He forced the man down gently and strongly and examined the wound. Now he pushed the man down on the bed and asked him, do you want to die? You may kill yourself if you do this sort of thing again. If you did this sort of thing, he scolded. He scolded the white man, saying that if he did the same thing, if he kept straining himself like this, he would die. What are you going to do with me? The boy muttered. The boy asked, what are you going to do with me? He looked just now barely 17. Are you going to hand me over? He was so afraid, and obviously he must be wondering what the doctor would do with him. So he asked him, what are you going to do with me? Are you going to hand me over to the authorities? For a moment, Sadao did not answer. He finished his examination and then pulled the silk quilt over the man. He did not answer. He finished his examination and he pulled the silk quilt over him. I do not know myself what I shall do with you, he said. I ought, of course, to give you to the police. You are a prisoner of war. No, do not tell me anything. He said that I should give you to the police only because you are a prisoner of war, and don't speak to me. Don't tell me anything. He put up his hand as he saw the young man was about to speak. Do not even tell me your name unless I ask it. So he said, don't even tell me your name. He did not want to get attached. He did not want to get anything emotional to do with this American. So he said, just don't speak to me. Don't tell me anything about yourself. They looked at each other for a moment, and then the young man closed his eyes and turned his face to the wall. He realized that the doctor did not want to hear anything about him. He did not want to get emotionally entangled in any way with this white man. So he closed his eyes and turned his face to the wall.